Hey everybody, Harold Fisher here, anchor and host of the Daily Drum on WHUR. Welcome to yet another edition of HUR at Home Newsmakers on WHUR.com and all of our social media platforms. Schools are reopening under very different circumstances this fall, and believe it or not, they aren't really doing it alone. There are all kinds of organizations that are stepping up to help make the transition smoother for students, parents, and the school systems. And one of those organizations is the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington. Joining us to talk about their efforts is the president and CEO, Gabrielle Webster. Gabrielle, thanks for joining the conversation.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that you're staying safe.
Yes. This pandemic has been challenging for us all, but I think those that are really working with children each and every day have faced a really special challenge in trying to make sure that we provide for our kids and a sense of normalcy, a sense of, things are going to be okay. And, we've remained relevant and done so many things during the past 18 months.
Starting with this fall, how do you provide a sense of normalcy for the young people going back to school, particularly when we're talking about supporting them after school, perhaps where you can't fit in with programs that I'm sure have changed since the beginning of the pandemic?
So I'll go back a little bit, Harold. When schools closed on March 13th, we closed also in accordance with all the school systems, and we're in DC, Prince George's, Montgomery, and all of the Northern Virginia suburbs. And we were only closed for 2 weeks. We reopened to serve the children of essential workers and those in the hospitals that were working to take care of everyone else. So we have had a lot of practice. We started out not just our after school programming, but full days and 13 hours supporting kids, providing meals to those kids and their families. We then transitioned into making sure that our kids were in learning pods. We provided broadband, computers, and an atmosphere where our young people could continue to learn, following all CDC guidelines. So we have been with masks, we have been following all the cleaning protocols, et cetera. So we have been doing that since April of last year. So even through summer camp. So as we are now reopening for after school, we have had much practice with this. And many of our young children are very familiar with this. Our staff certainly is. So what we're doing now is actually just after school versus 12, 13 hours a day, which we've been doing for quite a while. Unfortunately, kids are used to wearing masks because that has been what we've done for the last year and a half. Yeah.
So now moving forward, what are things going to look like for the Boys and Girls Club this fall?
Yeah. So we anticipate that they're going to look similar to what they have in the past. This summer, for instance, we had about 95% of our normal summer enrollment. We anticipate that as parents are starting to go back to work more and more, that they will certainly need a place for their kids to come after school. And we, it looks like kids are going to be going back to school 5 days a week. So we will be in great demand. We may even have waiting lists. But we really plan to go back with all of the things that we have then, be it STEM programming, the arts, music, financial literacy, to make sure that our kids are getting everything that they need. This pandemic has set them back a year and a half, especially our Black and brown kids, those that are financially insecure. They have had the challenges even greater than others. And all of those pre-existing inequalities, really hit our demographic the most. So it's up to us to really make sure that we're partnering with the schools to provide these kids everything that they need after school. So there will be additional tutoring, all those things that we can help them to get back to where they should have been, what they've lost, but also still have some fun. Kids do need to have an opportunity to play as well as become academically challenged too.
I do want to talk about a couple of things that the Boys and Girls Club may not have traditionally been involved in that you're doing now or plan on doing. And, the first thing is financial literacy. Lord knows their parents need that stuff.
Yeah.
And their cousins and
Everybody needs it.
How did that idea come about? Where did that come from?
Well, it's been one of the programs that we've had for years and years. I mean, we've been here 135 years at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, the nation's Boys and Girls Clubs, I might add. But I mean, financial literacy is something that we need, be it our staff, be it our young people, the entire, community needs that. And we want to make sure that our young people understand, bank accounts and credit cards and check cashing locations. And, if you have $1,000 and your car note is 800, then you're not going to have much money left over for food and for rent, et cetera. So we want them to learn these lessons early on in life because it will help them. I mean, that's the whole point of the Boys and Girls Clubs is to ensure that our kids that come through our doors leave with a plan. They leave with the readiness and the ability to be upstanding adults, whether they go into college or go into the military or the workforce. So that is just one part of the things that we provide for our kids each and every day.
And what about the social justice piece? How do you, how do you teach that? Because in today's political climate, it would seem to me that that is such a delicate dance. Even if you have in one part of the region, Black and brown kids, but then in another region, kids who are not.
Mm-hmm. Well, all kids are special. And it doesn't matter whether they're Black or brown or Asian or, polka dot. They need to feel special and they need to feel included. And unfortunately, a large part of the population has not felt included. So we really teach the point that all of us should have the same opportunities as others. And I think with George Floyd, things changed a lot then. And I think we're talking to our kids about making sure that they have their own voice, that they are able to share that. So we work with them on their own communication skills and to make sure that they get those points across in such a way that they will be received well. And so that's one of the things that we work on is their advocacy. Being in Washington, advocacy is very, very important for them and for us, and being able to speak for themselves, speak up for themselves. But I think that the thing that I'm most proud of is not just of our kids being able to speak their own truth, but our staff and our board. We have people that care so much about our young people and they want to see them succeed. And as one of our board members said, there's only one side to be on this issue, and that's the right side. So we are very much involved in, frankly, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington. It's inherent in what we do. DEI is just a part of our being and who we are, the fabric of the Boys and Girls Clubs.
What do you see as your biggest challenge, not just for the rest of this year, but as we continue to fight the challenges of the pandemic moving out of 2021?
I think that really being able to support as many kids as needed. We are limited by space. We are limited by finances, but partnerships with others can certainly help us spread and be able to serve more children. We know that the children we serve are very well served. Almost all of our kids, 98, 99% of our kids graduate from high school on time, and 95% or so usually go on to college. So the young people that are, within our family exceed and they excel. And the thing that I want to do is reach more. Before the pandemic, we were serving 21,000 children every year. Of course, those numbers dropped during the pandemic just because we could not physically get that many in. But we even started a virtual platform called Clubhouse at Your House to serve kids through their cell phones, because many of them didn't have computers at home. But if you had a cell phone, you could reach out and have live programming. And so we serve hundreds and hundreds of kids every day through that mechanism. So I think what we do is we find the way to serve our children. We will not be limited by what we've done in the past, but how do we reach them in the future to make sure that we get to as many as we can. That's our goal.
Gabrielle Webster, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington. Thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck to you and your organization. And please continue to stay safe so that you can keep the young people safe as well.
Thanks. You be well also.
Thank you so much. That is it for this edition of HUR at Home Newsmakers. I'm Harold Fisher, and as always, I'll see you on the radio.